Have you ever met a character in a movie or show that stole every single scene they were in? The kind of character where you think, man, forget the main plot. Give me 2 hours of just them. It's not luck, it's not an accident. There's a craft to building characters so alive, so magnetic that they could carry their own story, and maybe even their own movie. In this episode, we're breaking down exactly how to create this character, step by step, because if you can master this skill, you're not just telling stories, you're building worlds people never want to leave. Let's talk about it. I want you to think about your top 3 favorite movies. You thinking? Okay, now ask yourself, why do you love these movies? The more I think about mine, the more I realize that it's not just about the story, it's not just the plot twist, it's really the characters. And when I say characters, I mean the ones you care about, the ones you root for, the ones that made you feel something. And the truth is, we don't always say this out loud, but as an audience member, we're subconsciously thinking in our head when we're watching a movie, why do I care about this character, right? And the answer, if the answer is, I do care, that means you'll continue to watch. If the answer is, I don't, then you'll walk away or just start scrolling on your phone while the movie is watching you. Now, you've probably heard the phrase, story is king. And I believe that 1000%. But I'd argue that the characters are the heartbeat. You see, a beautiful plot doesn't matter if you don't care who it's happening to. That's why it's said that 90% of the director's job is casting. Why? Because you need the right person to bring life to the character. You know, someone who can make an audience cry with them, cheer for them, see themselves in the characters, right? Characters give us hope. They reflect who we are. They speak to us. Now, speaking of characters, let's talk about one of the most iconic characters to hit the screen in the last decade, Miles Morales. I know, I'm going to animation here. He hit the scene in Spider-Man Into the Spideyverse in 2018. Now, that movie grossed over $384 million globally and went on to win the Oscar for Best Animated Feature. Now, the sequel, Across the Spideyverse, almost doubled that, earning around $690 million worldwide. Now, there are a lot of reasons why those films were successful, right? It has stunning animation, check. Great music, check. Epic fighting scenes, check, check. But let's be real, none of that would have even worked without Miles, right? People connected with him. They saw his family, his identity, his struggle, his humor, his pain, and they cared. Even with so many spider people on screen, Miles grounded the story. Now, check this out. We also have another character. And across the Spideyverse, we meet someone new, Spider-Punk, aka Hobie Brown, voiced by Daniel Kaluuya, who's the actor of big blockbusters like Get Out and Nope. Now, the character that Daniel Kaluuya voiced, Hobie, is this anti-establishment, punk rock, guitar-slinging Spider-Man from a world that's literally torn by rebellion. He's loud, he's rebellious, he's chaotic, and somehow one of the coolest characters in the movie. So much so that Sony just announced he's getting his own spin-off movie. Now, not only is Kaluuya voicing Hobie again, he's also producing the film. This is what I'm talking about. When a character is so strong, so alive, so undeniably unique, the audience says, wait, I want more of that. Right? Which brings me to this point. Write this down. Create characters like they deserve their own movie. Whether you're acting in a scene, writing a script, or directing a story, ask yourself, would I want to watch 90 minutes of just this character? It's not the main question, right? You shouldn't just ask that, but it's a powerful one because that mindset pushes you to ask other questions like, what's their wound, right? What do they want? Because wants and needs are two different things for characters. Why are they the way they are? What makes them magnetic, right? It'll send you down a road to really find the importance of a character and why you should build that character. That's how you make characters that don't just serve the plot. They become the reason for the plot. Another example, Nicolas Cage's Spider-Man Noir. Right? In the same movie, right? Now we're dealing with two characters. Spider-Man Noir, this black and white brooding detective version of Spider-Man, becomes a fan favorite. So much so, they greenlit a whole live action TV series about him. Now, he was barely in the film for 10 minutes of screen time, but that 10 minutes was just enough, right? To spark curiosity, intrigue, and imagination. Why? Because he had depth, right? He had this thing about him. He was funny, right? He had mystery, and now he has his own spotlight. He has his own TV show. So the point I'm trying to make here is Great characters build great worlds. I mean, look at Star Wars, right? We've had spinoffs for Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, Ahsoka, right? All because the characters felt bigger than the screen. Now, as a creative, your job isn't just to build great scenes, it's to build great people that make you say, they've got more to say, and I want to follow them wherever they go. And their audience will follow them, right? So the next time you're building a story, don't just ask, what happens next, right? Ask, is there a character so good, or is this character so good that they can lead their own movie? Because when you focus on building characters that strong, you won't just tell a story, you'll build a universe.